Hello guys, and welcome to part 4 of our tutorial. In this part we'll be making our custom map geometry and then exporting it to Unity, as well as assigning materials to it. Alright, let's proceed by opening the folder. Okay, this is our downloaded folder. Let's go to goodies. There's a bunch of stuff that I have included with the project. You'll see this Blender Foundation folder. Well, if you know, you know. We're gonna be using Blender for this. What are we gonna do? Is we're gonna go to the drive, your username, app data, which is hidden, so you need to enable it. Enable displaying of the hidden folders and files. Then go to roaming over here. And as you can see, there's a Blender Foundation folder. We're gonna have to copy this folder into this one. No, hang on. Okay, we're just gonna copy this folder and then repeat our process once again. It's users, your name, app data, roaming, and we're gonna replace this one. Okay, let's press it. Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, I'm using two versions of Blender for this, 3.6. I'm using primarily for modeling props, modeling weapons and characters, as well as exporting animations. There'll be a bunch of presets just for that in the Blender. Also, I'm using version 4.0 for level geometry. It has a custom export script, which basically allows me to export the FBX file without actually tuning any settings. All the desired settings are set by default, so you don't even have to bother with the presets. You just click export and done. Okay, so assuming we have installed Blender and copied the folders that you see here, yeah, I prefer to install 4.0 and 3.6 so that they automatically like hook up and the Blender recognizes the presets and so on. Assuming you would do that, we should have our Blender. In this case, we need Blender 4.0 for this to work, which is exactly what I have here. Okay, let's open it up. This is Blender 4.0, and this is my personal map editor that I have kind of built with it. This is what you'll get when you install Blender 4 after copying the data folders, this Blender Foundation folder, into your app data. Okay, so in this tutorial we'll be covering briefly how to make your custom geometry for your levels. Okay, let's make a simple room, I guess. Okay, so you're probably wondering, why do I not use the default Blender? It's on the grid. It's on the grid. Basically, I'm using custom units for this Blender build right here. They are more similar to like source units. They are, I don't know how should I explain this, but well, they are kind of using source units converted to Unity units, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I'm doing some conversion on the side here. I know if I could find it here. It's pretty well hidden as far as I remember. Ah, there it is. As you can see, I'm using the metric system and the unit scale set to this. So, which is basically 1 multiplied by 0.022. Yeah. Divided by, yeah, as you can see right here. This allows me to have like a source like geometry on a smaller scale, if that makes any sense. Okay, let's simply proceed to make a level, I guess. First of all, we'll get this floor panel. As tradition, we delete it straight away. We need to see how big the player is. So, as in source, we create a cube. And this one has 32 by 32, but we need to move it up. We need to get the sense of our player's dimensions, which is 62 in height and then 32 by 32, which is roughly like source. Well, at the very least, source has a viewport height of 64 units. Actually, it's like 72, I think. We could change that if we would like to. But having this cube will allow us to like have a general sense of scale of the location, so that we don't accidentally make like a huge room or something. We need to get like, compare what we're making to this cube. Alright, let's proceed by making a plane. Add plane. Okay, make it 256, I guess. Let's see. It's kind of small, but I guess we could make it 512. Yeah, that's better. Okay, we have the basic floor. I guess we could just enter the edit mode and then extrude some of the vertices and then make a layout, then build walls around it. Okay, let's do that. Let's duplicate the vertices over here, then make a tunnel of some kind, like this. Make sure it's following the grid. Okay, I'm gonna extrude over here. Alright. And let's make another room over here. Shift D. Okay, this one's a little higher though. We're just, eyeballing it for now, for the sake of this tutorial simplicity, that is. We could make something a bit more complex, but I do plan to have a bunch of streams soon-ish, so we'll keep that for the streams, I guess. Okay, so what next? We'd have a little tunnel over here. And then make that go into a bigger room. Yeah, sort of like this. Okay, we got the floor plan, and now we need the walls. How to do that? Well, we're gonna select all the edges that we have made. Preferably not these ones, because they will be intersecting the tunnel entrances, so on. Okay, just select these, duplicate them, extrude by GZ128, I guess. No, that's too little, so let's extrude them by 256. That's more like it. And then we're gonna separate them into a different mesh. Now we're just gonna connect these edges by pressing F when selecting two edges. Don't worry about the normals if you know what they are. We'll recalculate them soon enough. Okay, one over here. One over here, and one over here. Good. Okay, I did tell you that we're gonna recalculate normals. Okay, we just gotta do it now. I have it bound to the quick favorites. So you press the Q button and then recalculate outside. And then we need to turn on inside. And as you can see, we have the walls now. We do the same thing for the floor because some of the normals are messed up here too. Calculate outside. Huh. Well, in that case, we're gonna have to manually press Q and then flip the normal. Okay. We could now press tab and then press A to select all, Shift D to duplicate, then cancel it with right mouse button, press G, Z, and then specify how much you want to lift that. We'll say 256. And then we're gonna press Q and then flip it. As you can see, we got some basic tunnel. Alright, I guess that's it for the basic geometry. Well, we could do a little something with the walls in case there are like exteriors. We could give these walls some thickness by applying this solidify modifier. And if we are going to do that, we're gonna have to give it a thickness of 16 and then set the offset to 0 and then enable show in edit mode and even thickness. Okay. As you can see, we got some thick walls over here. Let's add a bunch of pillars, I guess. I think this area will be kind of combat based. So we're gonna put a bunch of enemies, put a bunch of cover in here to give them some space and for space for us to hide from. Alright, let's add a new cube, make it 64 units. Let's move it up a little in edit mode, and let's move it as an object, put it here somewhere. Okay, we could extrude that or just extend that. It's not extrusion. And make a wall. Make sure it hits the ceiling. Need to zoom in for more accurate height. And that's duplicated. This should be good enough. We could also give this wall some thickness if we would like to. And then add a bunch of cover over here. Why not? Let's duplicate that too. Just make sure it follows the grid. And we're gonna recalculate outside. Let's make them smaller like this, minus 128. Okay, I think that's it for the level. I mean, it's pretty basic. There's not much you can do here, but it's good for the purpose of the tutorial. We're just gonna place a squad over here, squad of, soldiers. Then we're gonna place a bunch of prefabs, maybe some items over here. Why not? Okay, let's quickly add some walls, some wall materials. What do we want this to be? Let it be, create new material, let it be concrete. We have a bunch of concrete types in the game. Let's go with concrete old. Okay, now we are gonna turn these walls into wood, I guess. Okay. Wooden planks. We are basically assigning materials to the specified meshes in Unity, like this. And this one will be using, let's make concrete dirty. Okay, now when we've done it, it is time for us to unwrap the level geometry. We need to select all the objects except maybe for the player representation. Then press tab, select all of the faces, and then press U, Smart UV project, press OK. Later on we'll go into UV editing, and we're gonna scale every UV island over here by 4. Well, maybe 2 was good enough of a result, but 4 is pretty good for a map this size. Okay, I think we could export that to Unity. And let's see what we got. So we are going to export. Where is it? I think this one is. Let's go with the. Oh wait, that's mine. You need to go to the installed folder and then project, assets, maps. Let's go with this one. Let's call it test scene.fbx. That's exactly how our scene is named. So, yeah. You know, for the sake of organization, we're gonna call it how the scene is called, so that we don't mix it up with something else. So I don't like how this origin of this mesh is located not in the middle of the mesh itself. So we're gonna do one simple trick. Press the spacebar to search, and then we're gonna type origin to geometry. And the origin is set to the middle of the mesh now. We could re-export this in again. Also, we could hide this player representation, and it will not be exported the next time we click on export scene. Right, it should not be included now. Okay, let's go back to Unity. Let's see what we get. Okay. Now let's find our scene, test scene over here. Let's open it up. We need to add the mesh that we have just created. Let's go to models, oh no, maps, assets, maps, and then test scene. Let's put it here somewhere. Here it is. Okay, let's make sure the origin is set to pivot over here. And the rotation unfortunately is incorrect. We need to rotate it by 180 degrees, like this. There, it's in the right rotation again. So, what do we need to do here? We need to correct the import parameters that we have. First of all, we need to make sure that the generate light map UV is turned on. it will not be turned on when you export it. This is just an existing mesh that I have this turned on already. And we need to ensure that the generate colliders is turned on as well. And that's it. We need to press apply. And then we're going to go to animation materials tab. And we're going to assign some of the materials over here. We have concrete dirty, concrete old, and wooden planks. We have all those materials, although they're not exactly called like this. So let's search for concrete. Let's go with concrete dirty over here. Press this search button again, and then concrete old. And then wooden planks. Wooden planks. How about wood? Texture wood boards. Let's go with the green one. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, that's kind of a problem. You see, Unity sometimes generates the materials. We don't have the material called material dirty. This one Unity has generated. We need to replace this one, unfortunately. Concrete. We need the one that starts with the texture. My bad. I tend to forget that sometimes. Texture, concrete, old. Okay, now it will apply properly. As you can see, it did. Well, some of these UVs you may want to update by hand in the editor or in Blender, but for now I guess it satisfies us, I guess. Alright, so what do we do next? We have to mark this mesh as static. Why? So that we could generate the level occlusion that would hide all the some of the segments that are not visible in visible by the player's camera. So we need to press the bake button over here. It'll be pretty quick. It's already done. And now we need to enable the navigation of units, so that they could walk on this map and not just stand in place. For that purposes, again, we're gonna click on this test scene and then press the bake on the mesh. As you can see, the blue mesh has generated over here, and the enemies cannot walk on the map. Alright, these are two things that we need to have this static checkbox in for. But there is one thing still missing, and it's called lighting. We need a proper light map for this map. Okay,